proud, grateful. I love it that the song says, when things go my way and when they don't go my way. It implies that we just have that attitude of gratitude all the time. Wonderful. All right, there's enough pie for all. What an interesting topic. I said I was going to light my candle for pie. You getting hungry?
Yeah.
I'm sure that everybody has heard in this world that phrase, that's something like, I got to get my piece of the pie. And if you haven't heard it, maybe you've heard someone around you, or maybe you've said it yourself. I got to get my piece of the pie, or there's only so much pie to go around, something like that. Because our collective consciousness teaches us that there's only so much. I got to get my piece of the pie before you get your piece of the pie. If you get yours before me, there might not be enough left for me. Right? You've all heard these thoughts before? Only so much piece of the pie. That's the mentality. There's only so much. It's a lie. It's an absolute lie. Well, let's just explore it a little bit. The idea of only so much is a fear thought. It's fear-based. There's not going to be enough for me or my loved ones or my family. I'm going to run out. It's a very fearful thing. When we're fearful, what do we humans tend to do? We fight, for one thing, right? We're going to fight for what we think is ours. Yeah. We hoard. Yeah. Maybe, okay, no, I'm saying we as the general. They may not all apply to you. We hoard stuff. We defend stuff. Which is kind of the same as fighting, but there's a defensiveness there. There's a fight. We ration stuff. We hold really tight to stuff. Anybody relate to any of these things? Whether we're talking about our money, whether we're talking about the good stuff, whether we're talking about the things inside of our house, whether we're talking about our mates, we fight over it. We're afraid somehow there isn't going to be enough. And I'm saying today that it's a lie, but first, in the inner circle, I'm acknowledging that it can sometimes feel scary. I get it. I understand that on this earthly human journey, sometimes it feels like there's not much pie left and I better get mine. Or it can feel like I have to defend and hold really tight. I have to ration my money. I have to ration my love. I have to ration my good. It can feel that way. I understand it and I acknowledge it. All right? Visually, I'm going to show you what it kind of looks like to me today, what this talk looks like. So Richard, let's go to the first slide. Right now we're just dealing with pie. Okay. So the whole pie feels good, right? Yeah. Everybody's totally relaxed. I got the whole pie. Good. It's a relaxed place. Now, all right, you know when I say pie, it's the metaphor for whatever. All right, this might be your money. It might be your resources of any kind. It might be your love. All right, fill in your own blanks. It doesn't matter. The whole pie, I don't know anybody who isn't relaxed when they've got the whole pie. It looks really good, yes? Easy. Next slide. There's a pie piece taken out. Most of us are still pretty good right now. It's like, yeah, it's just one piece, you know, we're still feeling pretty good. I got to enjoy a little bit of my good. That is to me, that's a berry pie. I don't like cherry, so even though it looks red, it's berry to me. All right, so just that one piece gone, I got to taste, it's good, and I'm not afraid yet. Next slide. Wow. I'm really enjoying all my good. I'm enjoying this pie so much, but it's kind of starting to run out. Anyone start to feel a little nervous about now? You know, on the earth, it's like, oh, there might not be very much left. Go to the next slide. One slide left. Visually, this is what this talk looks like to me. And I'm purposely over-exaggerating the emotional aspect because that's the biggest piece of it. Oh, it feels good, I got the whole pie, I'm tasting it, still pretty good. When we get to this part, instead of being able to enjoy that last piece of pie, we start to freak out. Of course, we're not really talking about pie, right? It's whatever we fill in that blank, it starts to feel like there's not going to be enough. It is no more mentality. There's no more. It's that kind of a mindset. There's no more. All of these pictures are about form. Okay, so we live in the world of form, but we needlessly struggle when we're viewing life from only the realm of form. What we see here on earth, what we see in our bank account, what we see around us, we struggle needlessly when we only view life from that sense of form. So we're going to expand the circle out from acknowledging that, yes, it can be a little bit scary. We're going to expand it out, and we're going to talk about the mindset and the practices. And I'm going to start with the mindset. The really, really good news is actually on the next slide. In God's world, which is where?
Everywhere.
Everywhere, not out there like in heaven somewhere. God's world is everywhere. In God's world, there is no such thing as the last piece of pie. You see the infinity of pie, and how far can your imagination take that? Can you see it? Can you fill up the whole universe with pie? In God's world, there is no such thing as the last piece of pie. So keep that image in your mind while we go along here. So as we expand the circle, we're going to start with the mindset. And so I've already told you that when I'm saying abundance, put in your own blank, all right? It might be money, it might be finances, it's something we must talk about. It might be love, it might be that sense of not feeling like you have enough love or enough friends. It might be your resources, and I really love that word, because resources is anything and everything we might need. Okay, so fill in your own blank with that, whatever that is. And as we're looking at this idea, first I want us to check out our hangovers. What are our hangovers? And I'm not talking about the Cabernet I drank last night, because I know my Saturday night limits. I'm talking about the hangovers about resources, about finances, about money, about not enough. What are the hangovers that we have? What are the old ideas? Okay, like for instance, people who have money are greedy. Anybody have it? You don't have to raise your hand, just think about it on the inside. If anybody has an old hangover that people with a lot of money are greedy people, that is a collective consciousness idea in our society. Unfortunately, there is some truth to it. Some people choose to be that way, okay? But that's not you. So forget about them. There may be greedy people out there in the world who have a lot of money. So what? So what? I'm just proposing that it's a hangover, that if it's hanging out in our mind, it is not serving us. I know I have little pieces of it. I absolutely know, and here's how I know. When I hear about football players having contracts for $100 million for 5 years of work, it touches that place in me a little bit. It's like, wow, $100 million. What else could we do with that? You know, so that's a hangover for me, that sometimes I can feel a button getting pushed about that. It can do so much other good. But then the very next part of me, the part of me that knows this philosophy really darn well, says, why not? Why not bless them with that $100 million? Because that $100 million is not the only $100 million. That's the last piece of pie thinking. Are you with me? Think about it in your own life. Where does that button get pushed? All right, why do they get all that money? Let the very next question be, why not? Because when we say, why do they get all that money? What's going on usually inside of us is thinking that that's all there is and they shouldn't have it all. But yes, they should. And so should you. Okay? So we want to get rid of that. If that's an old hangover for you, anything that has to do with greed or people not being good people. What about this one? God wants me to struggle. Samantha, that sentiment runs rampant, my dear. How many of you were raised Catholic? Okay, you tell me, did you learn God wants you to struggle? There's a few saying no and a few saying yes. Everything that I hear from people, my Catholic friends, all I end up hearing about is the word guilt. That means God wants you to struggle. Oh, I had to fill in the blank for you. If you're taught guilt, if you're taught God's going to be more pleased because you're living a life of poverty, isn't that about the priest's tape? That's an old hangover, that somehow you're supposed to struggle. And God is going to be more pleased if you do. If you have any of that hanging out, let's dump that. If you have anything,